So you bought your very first FRT and you put it in your brand new rifle. You drive all the way out to the range, or you go to your indoor range with your blaster and you go to shoot. One click and nothing happened. And we had a light primer strike. God, that's awful. Today we're gonna show you how to fix it. So we're gonna show you how to take your FRT rifle from this to this. This is how, in my opinion, a perfectly tuned FRT AR-15 should run. Something like that. Today, folks, we are going to be talking about how to tune your FRT. Now, specifically, the FRTs that I have here are the Arcfire from AS Designs. The same principle can be applied to pretty much all FRTs that are out there. For this test, we're gonna make it super simple. So we're using the pre-cut Mil-Spec trigger shoe and a Mil-Spec trigger. Any and all details, especially in regards to the perfectly tuned setup Geissele that I have here, will be in the description below. I have a variety of different buffer springs and buffers here. We have all the way from an H up to a HK, which is actually a little bit lighter than an H3, but we do have an H3 here. I don't suspect that we'll need to go any further than that. And then once we get it running beautifully unsuppressed, we're gonna screw it all the way up and throw a polo on there just for funsies. And we're gonna show what a really gassy can does, and then we're gonna show what a really not gassy can will do. This is the Radical Defense GPS 5K. And we're just gonna learn some knowledge today. Yeah, dude, science. Dude, Olipop smacks.
Is that a sponsor?
No, that's not an ad read, but this is. By the way, I have to give a huge shout out to old Benjamin. He says I'm big shillin', so that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. We have to thank our channel sponsors, one of which being AS Designs. That's the FRTs that we're gonna be using today. And this one I got right here is a Mil-Spec selector upgrade. Who's calling me? Spam, dude.
Spam.
Mil-Spec selector upgrade for the ARC. These will be sold, I believe, sometime in January. Drastic improvement over the smooth one that we got right here and the old one. Next channel sponsor is going to be Bauer Precision. We actually got Brody out here from Bauer. There we go. Code is YES. Oh, by the way, for AS Design, since old Benji thinks I'm shilling, today's coupon code is actually Ben2K109 for his username. So we're going to shill for Ben today. That's it. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so you guys saw in the beginning of the video, let me turn these up, I feel like I'm yelling. In the beginning of the video, right, it was just boom and then nothing, dead triggers. So that is the symptom. Now what we have in here is just a standard carbine buffer and spring. That's what most AR-15s are probably gonna ship with. So again, FRT mode, boom, and nothing. We have a dead trigger. So let off, light primer strike. So this is probably gonna be a consistent issue as we go up in buffer weight, and then we should start to see it run. Each buffer going in, same carbine spring. Everything else stayed the same. Same thing. Same thing, light primer strike. Now we're gonna go up to an H1.
Plot twist, it never worked.
Yeah, how about that? The whole video and we can't get it to run. How funny would that be? H1 buffer, carbine spring, let's see, FRT. Same thing. I don't think I need to show it. Light primer strikes. Now we're getting into the territory where we need to be with an H2. What do you think? What's your money on? Is this one gonna run? H2 carbine spring?
Yeah.
Unsuppressed?
I think it'll work.
Here we go, FRT, H2 buffer, carbine spring. That's the money.
That worked.
Cleared the sinuses up real good. I wasn't ready for it to work, dude. It was like, whoa! All right, so now we got it to run. It's a little bit too fast for my liking though, so we're gonna try an H3. By the way, we're also using regular old Geissele buffers to keep everything consistent. So, oops, that's an H1. There we go, Geissele H3. See how she runs. That's kind of where I like to be, just with a can on it. So we got it tuned perfectly unsuppressed. Now let's screw it up and throw a can on it. But I'm gonna go back to the H2 to prove my point even further. I don't even know if I'm gonna do a full mag dump with this, because I already know how this is gonna go. Otter Creeks? Or Creek, just one creek. Otter Creek Polonium, full size. Oh my God! That's yeah, okay, there we go. That is way too fast. So we got the bolt biting around as it is running. Way too fast. Let's see if it'll go. Oh my God, that is rough. I've been that guy, pal. I've been that guy. With like the first FRT I ever got, I threw it in the gun and I ran it like that, just ridiculously fast. And there's tons of videos of people on the internet doing it, and whatever, man. It makes you really cool if you can manage that. But that's not how I like to shoot. So we're gonna swap out now our buffer spring. We're not gonna change a buffer, keep it in H2, and we're gonna step it up to a Super 42, which for those of you that don't know is supposed to be like, what, 20% increase in spring force? Still too fast. All right, I don't know about 20%, Geissele, but yep. Okay. So that ain't it. Now let's try H3. Damn, I'm just destroying my new berm. By the way, yeah, check that out. Pretty sweet new berm. And TA targets. Those are sick. But I still don't like that. This is a really gassy can, so I might not even have enough buffer to slow it down. But we are gonna try a Springco Red Spring, which is supposed to be massively increased in powers. In this situation, ideally, there's a point where you don't necessarily want to add more spring and you want to add more buffer weight. So this is probably that situation. Me personally, I like the Polo. I'm not dogging on it. I would probably never put one on an FRT rifle. But I know that there are some people out there that have a Polo or a really gassy can and they want to run an FRT. So I don't know if that changed a whole lot. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. At some point, the spring rate isn't really gonna do a whole lot to the rate of fire. It will absorb a little bit more recoil, so it did feel a little bit more controllable, but it's not gonna slow it down. So, unfortunately, I don't have anything heavier than an H3. We are gonna go ahead and change the suppressor to something a little bit different, and then we will go from there. So, but in this case, if you got a really gassy can or a Polo, go up in buffer, H4, H5 even, or just get a flow-through can. Changing literally nothing. So still Springco Red and H3. We're gonna throw something on one of the most expensive suppressors on the market. This is a Knights Armament Alphabet Soup, QDC CRS/PRT 556. Oh, look at that, dude. Look at the guy, insert the guy that's like, nice. Also, it's not just a matter of like rate of fire, it's like fun to shoot. So like, yeah, rate of fire, a stupid fast rate of fire is really like fun at first and it's cool with the boys, but it's miserable to shoot. That was much better. That was slower, much more controllable, and just more pleasant to shoot. I don't feel like I'm cutting a bag of onions when I'm done with it. Now that I got this thing nice and hot, we're gonna try one more can. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Forgot, I do have more buffer. It's just not your standard carbine buffer. So this is the VLTOR A5 buffer system. It's a lengthened buffer tube with a lengthened buffer and a longer spring. So everything is longer, so it gives everything a little bit more travel, more spring, you can add more weight. So let's see what this does. What's going on here? Oh my God, dude. Okay, there we go. Turns out all you gotta do is jam your can into the ground. Oh, that's great. Nice. It's hot, so I don't want to touch it. There we go, we got it out. Okay, wow. FN cloner lowers apparently don't work on Sons of Liberty uppers. Like the handguard touches the front of the lower receiver. You see that? Same can, now with the VLTOR. Much more controllable. Let's do that again, one more time. There's a reason I have a VLTOR buffer system on all of my FRT setups. It just runs beautifully. Dude, you got beat up with that press. All right. That's where I like my FRT setups to run. To take it a step further, we're gonna put a 0 back pressure can on there with that GPS 5K. I don't know, it should run with the H3. Guess we'll find out. Somebody on Reddit is gonna cry when they see this. There it is. All right. So this is an example of too much buffer weight. So I'm squeezing the trigger at the exact same amount of force that I just did all the other ones, right? Except for this, we're just getting, see right there, I kind of squeezed it less and it's still, there's a sweet spot now. So if there's a sweet spot in the trigger, odds are you have too much buffer weight. Let's go back. Let's just throw in the other lower. Why do you have a handcuff key on your keys?
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
There we go. Wow, the PSA lower goes on just fine. All right, that should just give us a little bit more room to play with the trigger so there's not as much of a sweet spot. Yeah, that is nice. So I'll overlay a clip right about now of same buffer system and everything like that with the Polo, what that looked like, and then with the GPS 5K, so you can see the difference in rate of fire, controllability, and all that stuff. I mean, you saw I wasn't putting a whole lot of effort into that to keep it somewhat on target. If you got anything else, any other questions, leave them down in the comments below, or shoot me a message on Instagram. So the other reason that your arc fire specifically could not be working is if you cut the Geissele trigger wrong, didn't cut it enough, or cut it too much. AS Designs does, however, now the pre-cut Geissele trigger shoes, so if you don't want to mess with any of that, you can just put one of theirs and toss it right in with the lever blocker and you'll be good to go. One more thing I just thought of is, so in our particular example, we were using the Suns, right? That is a fixed gas block upper receiver. I would imagine it's within mil-spec standards as far as how it's gassed. Your rifle may be gassed different, meaning your starting point and your sweet spot of buffer and spring weight might be different than what you saw in this video, but hopefully with the symptoms that you saw, you can diagnose it. So you might start on like an H1 and a carbine spring, or you might have something completely different with an adjustable gas block. This is a PWS. It's a piston system, so not quite the same thing, which will make your life a whole lot easier. So don't take it exactly to heart, but try to go out, go to the range, shoot your stuff, see what happens. Use this video as an example to help you tune your FRT and get it to run beautifully. Well, Merry Christmas, by the way. Should we do one more rip just for... Oh, that's a little high. There we go. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.